him.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Let's put a little light on that subject. See what I did there. Joining me as always, Johnny D. Johnny, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Scotty B. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for breakfast this morning. That was a nice change of pace.
You're welcome.
We had Burger King croissants. They weren't bad.
No,
they weren't bad. I like the little potatoes better.
Yeah, those were nice.
Yeah, those were
and
good.
then, as always, Scotty gave me the egg that was on his sandwich.
Why would anybody put egg on anything? That's my question. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand why you don't like egg.
Because it's gross.
And more importantly, why you don't like tomatoes.
Because they're gross.
But you'll eat tomato sauce.
And egg products. I mean, I'll eat scrambled eggs. I'll eat an omelet. I can't do a fried egg. I don't like folded eggs. Even though people tell me a folded egg is just a scrambled egg folded. No, it's not. It's not.
I agree with you there. Most folded egg, fast food folded eggs. But I got to tell you, that one was not bad.
No, that's not true. It's horrible.
You put enough salt on it and everything's good.
There's not enough salt in the world. I don't
How do
know,
you feel about onion?
I like onions, but I don't eat them often because I don't like the length of the onion stay. You eat an onion today and you taste it for 2 days.
One of my favorite.
I mean, I love them, but that's too long. 2 days later, you're trying to drink a Coke and it tastes like onion.
One of my two of my favorite sandwiches. One, actually, three of my favorite sandwiches. One is a tomato sandwich, tomato with mayonnaise, salt, and pepper.
There's something wrong with that. They're just something wrong with that.
Another one is an onion sandwich, again with mayonnaise, bread, salt, and pepper. And then
you can't go out in public after you eat an onion sandwich.
Do I care?
That's a good point. Probably not. Yeah.
And the third one is a tomato.
You said you had two favorite sandwiches.
And then I bumped it up to three.
Okay. Tomato and onion sandwich?
Yeah, with salt and pepper.
When you get to the BLT.
Okay. Then there's the BLT.
It keeps going up, see?
Yeah.
I often will order a BLT when I'm out, and I'll give me a BLT without the T. So just a BL sandwich. Which is better than a BM sandwich, I would imagine.
I'm not a big fan of iceberg lettuce. So if they can make me a BLT with romaine lettuce or arugula, yeah, that's fine. Otherwise, just give me a BTT.
Bacon, tomato, and tomato.
All right, BTTO.
Bacon, tomato, onion.
No.
Isn't that a band, BTO? I thought so too. I didn't even know where to start with this. You know what we'll do? We'll just start with Film Masters because I love Film Masters. I'm a huge fan of this company. And they have a new release just out now. I'm going to put this up here on the screen for you. The Scarlet Letter, as you can see there. This is their latest release. They've got more in the pipeline. Lots of good stuff. The Scarlet Letter is from 1934. And if you watch this version, the Film Masters version on Blu-ray of the Scarlet Letter, you will know that it's from 1934 because of the photography styles, the special effects, and the acting, which is, back then the acting was a little stiffer than it is these days. But you won't know that it's from 1934, which is almost 90 years ago?
Yeah.
From the image and the sound. It's the sound quality and the image is perfect. There's not a scratch to be seen. It's crisp. It's amazing what Film Masters does with these re-releases.
What I like about the old movies, it was the special effects were practical special effects as opposed to CGI.
You, sir, are a broken record. Just wanted to let you know that. You say that every time we mention something. You have to say
it. It's more like Groundhog.
You always have to say, I like practical better than I like CGI. Practical doesn't always work. Have you watched some of those old movies where the practical effects are so bad that you laugh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they wished they had CGI back
when
then.
you have a really good movie, and To Kill a Mockingbird is a good example. I didn't see anything wrong with that movie. That is my favorite all-time movie. And that was made back in the early 60s, I think.
61, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Another one.
Okay, we're not going to go through this. We started with Scarlet Letter, and we ended up on John's list of favorite movies. I don't know how we get to these places.
Okay, who's in this version of the Scarlet Letter?
Nobody that you would recognize with the exception of one.
Okay.
And I'll get to him shortly.
Okay.
Assuming you let me. We'll see how this goes. Yeah.
So the zipper broke.
What's interesting about the Scarlet Letter is this movie was made in 1934, but it takes place in the 1600s. So you have 1934 looking at a place, looking at a time that's you have 1934, which is almost 90 years ago. And then you have this film, which is looking at, I got to do the math, 300 years before that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's very interesting to see that kind of angle taken as well. It's based on the classic Nathaniel Hawthorne story about a woman who has a child out of wedlock. And the town, being a very pious town, slaps a letter of shame on her. She has to wear the letter A wherever she goes. She's got this letter A so that everybody knows she shamed herself by having this child out of wedlock. And it's very interesting to watch this movie that takes place in the 1600s as the way the actors, writers, and directors saw it in 1934 and compare it to some of the stuff that's going on today.
Mhm.
It's a very similar thing. And you'd think in the 400 years since the 1600s, we would have made some progress. It doesn't look so much like we've made a lot of progress. And it's as a matter of fact, it seems like we're actually going backwards a little bit rather than forwards. And so that makes it very interesting to watch this movie and compare eras, not only to today's era, but to 1934 and to the 1600s. Very interesting. The cast is excellent as far as that goes. I mean, again, it's very stiff for the most part acting, but there is one actor in there that you would know, John. His name is Alan Hale.
Really? The skipper?
No, not the skipper.
Oh, the father.
The skipper was Alan Hale Jr.
Oh, that's right.
The father, Alan Hale. And he and another actor in the film are the comic relief of the film. For example, I wish I had his partner's name and I just didn't pull it up. I'm sorry. He's in love with this woman and he wants to ask her to marry him. But so Alan Hale goes over to talk to her on his behalf. And he goes in and he goes to her house and she lets him in and he sits in a chair and she'd been knitting her underwear or fixing her underwear. And he sits on it. And his friend walks in at that very moment as he's holding up the underwear. And his friend tells him, "Now you have to marry her because you've seen her nether garments." And that's what he gets forced into, is getting married because he saw this woman's nether garments. So they're very funny together. Those two have some good lines and some good slapstick moments. It's a little bit like a Laurel and Hardy kind of thing going on there. Very entertaining. So
does his partner, did he wear a patch over an eye?
No, he did not.
Okay.
You're still thinking of the skipper?
No, I pulled up the cast list on this movie. Oh, was Errol Flynn in this movie?
No, he was not.
Okay.
I would have remembered Errol Flynn. Hold on. We're going to pull it up right now and we'll go through some of the
because
cast.
I know Alan Hale Sr. Did several movies with Errol Flynn, whether it was Swashbuckler or World War II movies.
The cast in this one is Colleen Moore plays Hester Prynne. Hardy Albright plays the Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale. He's very good in this. He has a balance of wanting to do the right thing and the misery of not being able to do the right thing. So that's very interesting. You've got Henry B. Waltwall. Cora Sue Collins plays the little girl. Alan Hale, as I told you earlier, Bartholomew Hawkins. Virginia Howell played Abigail Crackstone. I'm trying to see the actor who played his partner, and I don't see his picture. Oh, that was the other thing. Iron Eyes Cody
really
is in this movie. And it's funny because when I saw him, now remember, this is 1934, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's Iron Eyes Cody. But he's not in the credits. He's uncredited for the movie, even though he's got a speaking role. It's very interesting. But he didn't look that much different from that in that, what was the 70s when he did the Crying Indian commercial?
I wonder if it's because he was an Indian, an American Indian.
Maybe.
You know, things were so different back then.
Yeah, I can't find a picture of this actor I was talking about. It might very well be William Kent, who was his partner in this, Alan Hale Sr.'s partner. See, there's that ad I told you. It's annoying me. Anyway, again, my hat's off to Film Masters, who've taken another classic film based on a classic story and made it brand freaking new. It's fresh. It looks crisp. You're never going to find a better print, because I don't think one exists. I think this is the best. It probably looks better today than it looked back in theaters in 1934.
One of the actors on that list, Virginia Howe.
Mm-hmm.
What's the last name? Howe.
Really, John, you're going to go to a Gilligan's Island reference on this?
No, what I'm getting at is looking at that picture of her. She looks very familiar.
She did a lot of stuff, as you can see here. Tomorrow at 7, St. Louis Blues. They just had to get married. Girls' School. Lots of movies that she did.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like her last one was back in 1939. So yeah, she had done a lot of work then as well.
Well, I noticed when I pulled up Alan Hale Sr., he died January 22nd of 1950.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So anyway, Film Masters, check them out at filmmasters.com. You can also find them on Facebook. I follow them on Facebook, and you get a lot of news from them there. I was going to try to look up, see if I could find some of their upcoming releases. I know they have The Terror with Jack Nicholson is coming up very soon. Let's see what else there is. Let's see. Here we go. The Devil's Partner they just announced, and that's a double feature with Creature from the Haunted Sea. The Terror is a double feature with Little Shop of Horrors. Those two tend to go together often because Roger Corman produced them both. And there's more titles coming. Filmmasters.com. Again, recently, Guillermo del Toro made a good point. Do you remember that movie? And I can't remember the title of it at the moment, that Denzel did, where he's walking the Bible.
Oh, the Book of Eli.
The Book of Eli. Somebody was talking to Guillermo del Toro about that movie, and he made a comment that I thought was kind of true. Much like Denzel was the steward of the Bible in that movie. And I know, trust me, that's a big spoiler if you guys haven't seen the movie, but it's actually a very, very good movie. People who collect physical media, VHS, Blu-rays, DVDs, those things, they are the stewards of film art. Mm-hmm. Because if a studio has a film and they don't want to put it on Paramount Plus or Netflix or something, they can shelf it and you'll never get a chance to see it. Mm-hmm. But if you own a copy on Blu-ray or DVD or digital, you've got it forever. And so his comment was that those people who have those collections, those libraries, are really the stewards of film history. Yeah. And I thought, what a great way of looking at that. And Film Masters is doing their part to do that as well. So very interesting stuff. So check them out, filmmasters.com. I can't say enough good things about them, and I will continue to say good things about them because I'm really just enamored with their work. Moving on, Johnny and I agreed last week that we would both watch a certain movie. And Eddie Murphy has a new Christmas movie out called Candy Cane Lane, which I believe is on, it's on Amazon Prime, right?
Correct.
Amazon Prime. I will let John give his review first. The film is directed by Reginald Hudlin. It stars Eddie Murphy, Tracy Ellis Ross, and some other names I know, Nick Offerman, David Alan Grier. So a terrific cast. Johnny, what was your thoughts on Candy Cane Lane?
Well, I liked the movie for the most part. There were a few things how I was hoping it would have gone in a different direction, but it didn't.
Give us an example.
I had this all as I'm watching it. I should have kept notes while I was watching it. Excuse me. It wasn't a sneeze.
I know. Said it anyway.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know. It was a little, I don't want to say hokey. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. I liked the action of Oh God,
The story, why he's thinking of that, the story, folks, is about Eddie Murphy, who lives on a street where there's a big competition every year between the neighbors about who can have the best Christmas display. Well, Eddie Murphy finds out that his job, that he's been laid off. So now the contest is even more important to him. One, because he's got something to do. And two, for the first time ever, there's $100,000 prize being offered to the best decorated house on the street. Eddie Murphy, in an attempt to get the best display that he possibly can, winds up going to this strange store underneath a bridge somewhere in town and buys a Christmas tree that displays the 12 days of Christmas on the tree. He lights it up. It's so bright you can see it from space.
Yeah.
But when they go to bed that night, all of the Lords of Leaping, Maids of Milking, Partridge, they all escape and they're running amok in town, causing trouble. And he's got to stop that, because if he doesn't stop it, he's going to be turned into a Christmas toy himself.
A Christmas
glass doll or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Not quite an ornament, but sort of like that.
I think one of the things that I was really hoping would have happened was when all the little glass Christmas ornaments were turned back into humans, regular humans. The one that did not get in Santa's sleigh. Yes, spoiler alert. You see him walking down the street after the sled is already taken off. The sleigh is taken off. And right then I'm going, oh, I know what's going to happen. He's going to go back to Eddie Murphy's old boss, and we're going to find out he actually owned that company when he was alive, or he takes over that company somehow. And that didn't happen. I thought that way Eddie Murphy would have gotten his job back. Now, granted, where he does end up working, which was okay, that
made sense too.
Yeah. But I would have liked to have seen him get the other one and take care of what needed to be taken care of, bring back the people that got laid off because of corporate downsizing.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I hated it. I thought it was awful.
Well, like I said, for the most part, there was some stuff that I was not happy with, but hey,
there was a couple things that I really liked. David Alan Grier's Santa. I thought his Santa was pretty cool. I liked that what we were just talking about that just now left my head as well. Well, we'll come back to that. But overall, I thought it was a whole bunch of Christmas cliches crammed into a movie so tightly that they didn't make sense. I about vomited when the little girl at the end, the bad elf, who's trying to destroy her family, who's trying to take her father away from, the little girl says, all she needs is a Christmas hug. Like, yeah, really? Somebody get the gasoline and burn the prince of this movie. It was atrocious. And I love Eddie Murphy. I love David Alan Grier. I love everybody that's cast. Nick Offerman. Mm-hmm. I love all these people, but it just didn't work. It was like Eddie Murphy thought, I need to have a Christmas movie. Let's just make one, and just tossed everything into a bowl and stirred it up like Christmas dough. And it's not just me. Several times as we're sitting there watching this, my wife turned to me and said, can we stop watching this now? Can we stop watching this now? But what's my rule? Once I start a movie, I finish a movie.
Right.
So,
well, I guess what I'm disappointed, one of the things I'm disappointed in, I thought Eddie Murphy's acting was good.
It always is.
Always is. It doesn't matter how, if you'll pardon this expression, crappy a movie is. He gives you a performance.
Everybody in this was very good, as a matter of fact.
The story was a little weak. It's almost like that story's been told many times. And well,
it's that's the other thing. It's a Christmas story. So yeah, you want all the cliches in there, but you don't want them jammed in so tightly they don't make sense. And that was the problem I had with this movie. They jammed them in so tight that it's like, well, we have to get this in there. Well, it doesn't fit. I don't care. Put it in anyway.
David Alan Grier, I like him. Everything I've seen him in.
He's terrific.
Yeah, he is. I didn't like the fact he played basically what I would consider a hip hop Santa.
That's exactly what he was. That was
exactly.
cool.
No, I would have liked to have seen him with the beard and with the big belly.
Oh, so see, you're part of the problem. You want more cliches in a movie that's already overabundantly cliched.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's Christmas.
Yeah, it's I thought it was it took me off at first, but later is he kind of grew on me because it's David Allen Greer and he just nailed the role. He was perfect. And I liked the hip hop stand. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't expect it when he pulled up in that the DeLorean sleigh of his, but then when he got out, it's like, okay, this works. This is cool. So
actually, I was thinking of DeLorean. I was thinking more like the speeder that
from Star Wars. Yeah. Anyway, John gives it a weak thumbs up. I give it a hard thumbs down.
Yeah, and when he says a weak thumbs up, it's like, if I don't know if you can see it, it's more like there.
Yeah, I really wanted to like it. I had high hopes for it. And again, every Hallmark movie, and I'm not a big fan of Hallmark movies either, are it's just stuffed with cliches. But they have a formula that works. This movie didn't. It just shoved them all in there, and it's like, okay, I've had enough. There were a couple of laughs, not many, but a couple of laughs. Most of the stuff just didn't work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a pretty good thumbs down.
Which is a shame. What was that? Pluto Nash. A lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was a really good movie.
Did you think it was a really good movie, or did you enjoy it? Because there's a difference.
Okay, I really enjoyed it. I'll put it that way.
I remember liking Pluto Nash more than I thought I would. I didn't see it till years later. 5% good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I remember it being not as bad as everybody said it was. But see, that's the beauty of seeing it afterwards. Because if you'd seen it first, you might have had high expectations and then been sadly disappointed. But if you wait a couple of years and you hear how terrible it is, and you watch, it's like, well, that wasn't so bad.
What was Rotten Tomatoes guide on Candy Cane Lane?
It's not getting bad reviews.
This is interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is now getting bad reviews. It was better than that before. 41% good reviews with the critics, 44% with the audience. So it's not doing well at all. I think that's too high for it myself. I'd go more like 30%, but that's just me. But yeah, it's not doing that great. There's another Christmas movie that I watched. It was another one that was just stacked with cliches, but the cliches kind of worked in this because it's a cliche film to start with. And that was called Family Switch. And Family Switch, let me find out where that's at right now. Family Switch is it's a brand new movie, 2023, and it stars Ed Helms and some others, which I will pull up here for you in just a second. I didn't expect to talk about Family Jewels. That's not what I said.
Don't you just love
that's a different movie entirely. Family Switch. Jennifer Garner is in that, as well as Ed Helms and some other people. Rita Moreno. That's why I watched it.
Oh yeah,
I'll watch anything she's in. She's amazing. So this movie is not a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a feel-good movie, but it's such a standard feel-good movie that I was kind of bored all the way through because it's one of those body switch movies. And what happens is there is a family, Jennifer Garner, the mother, who's looking for a promotion, Ed Helms, the father, who's trying to get his band finally to be popular, Emma Myers, the daughter, who is trying to get on a soccer team, and Brady Noon, the son, who is trying to get into a college. These are what their lives are so focused on that they've lost the spirit of Christmas. They're so focused on what they want that they've lost the spirit of Christmas. So they go to an observatory to try to find the Christmas star. And while they're there, something happens. Rita Moreno's got something to do with it. And boom, there's this big flash. And all of a sudden, they're in each other's bodies. Jennifer Garner is now her daughter. Ed Helms is now his son, and so on and so on. So now you have these people in the wrong bodies trying to achieve the goals that the original ones wanted to achieve.
So it's not like they're switching with another family. They're switching
within
amongst
the family.
themselves.
Yes, exactly. And so you have them, this is how they discover the Christmas spirit, because once they're in each other's bodies, they realize what each other's struggles are, and they work together to make everything happen for them the way it's supposed to happen. And of course, at the end, because they found the Christmas spirit, everybody gets put back in their same bodies. Again, how many times have we seen a body switch movie? There's got to be 100 of them.
What was the first one? 18 again?
No, that was way before that. The Disney movie with I was trying to think of the name of this the other day. The mother and daughter who switched places.
No, I thought there was one before that. It was with George Burns.
No, dude, I'm talking 1960s.
Oh, okay.
Body switch. The George Burns movies was later too.
Yeah, I really like that one. The actor who portrays George Burns's character as a young man, he nailed.
Freaky Friday was the early 70s, then remade in 2003. What are you looking at it like that?
No, I was thinking, I was trying to remember the name of the actor who played opposite George Burns. Because like I said, he captured George Burns the way he was then, but as a younger man. And I thought his mannerisms and all that was definitely George Burns.
Yeah, Freaky Friday, the first one, was 1976. That starred Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris and John Astin. I can't believe I haven't seen that movie with those three people in it. That's worth watching it right there. But yeah, the fact that the body switch movies have been around for ages, and they keep doing them because they work a lot. They work often. So I'm okay with that. And I went in understanding that I was going to be watching that kind of movie. But so you've got all the cliches of the body switch movie. You've got all the cliches of a Christmas movie. It's a little too much. But if I have to choose between that and Candy Cane Lane, I'm going to go with Family Switch every time. But that's just me. You might have a different opinion. That's what it's all about, right? Johnny and I, before the show started today, we watched a trailer. We haven't played that in a long. No, we won't play it today because I can't find it. We watched a trailer for the new Jason Statham movie, The Beekeeper, which starts on January 12th of next year. I've seen the trailer before, and I said the same thing today when we finished watching it, as I said the first time we finished watching it, which was what, Johnny? Just take my money.
Exactly.
First of all, I'm a huge Jason Statham fan.
It's time to bring him to the studio.
We can bring him back. We used to have a standee here of Jason Statham, a full-size standee, and the people of the Friday Shot Day show did not like it. They kept giving me a hard time about it. They kept threatening to steal it and throw it away. So I had to take it out. You weren't the only one on the Friday Shot Day show.
That's true too. I was the only one that counted.
That's also not true. But so I replaced it. We have Ernest now. Ernest, which is just as good, really. But maybe I will bring Jason back. I think he belongs back here.
You could put him up there, maybe.
I'll put him behind me so that when we do the show, I have Jason looking over my shoulder.
And he can put his hand on your shoulder.
Okay, let's not get weird. Anyway, I'm a huge Jason Statham fan, and The Beekeeper looks like the perfect Jason Statham movie. It's a movie about revenge. They kill an elderly friend of his, indirectly maybe, but they still do. And to quote Jason Statham in the movie, "I'm going to burn this place down." And I love the fact that, the bad guys are all huddled up and they're talking about out in front of the building. He's not going to go in the back. He's too smart for that. He's not going to go in the front because we're all here. And Jason walks up and goes, "I thought I'd just save you all the trouble and come to you right now." And of course, a fight ensues. It looks terrific. I cannot wait to see The Beekeeper.
Can you picture him as James Bond?
It's funny you should say that because it's he really wants to be James Bond. He actually told somebody in an interview recently that he's been WhatsApping Barbara Broccoli because he wants to play Bond. So he's staying in touch with her. I don't know that Jason's right for Bond. And it's not because he's bald. That doesn't bother me. I mean, Daniel Craig proved that Bond can have hair of any type. It doesn't really matter. And no hair would also qualify. He looks good in a tux. He's got the action moves that is required. Is he
English or Scottish?
I don't know the details on that. But I do know that does he have 4 movies in him? 4 Bond movies. That's what they're looking for. Somebody who can do 4 Bond movies. How old is Jason Statham? Let's find out. The joys of Google, folks. He's 56. So he's not that old. How old was Daniel Craig when he finished Bond? He's 55 now. So see, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Jason is older now than Daniel Craig is now, and Daniel Craig's finished his 4 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that he's going to get that role. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in it as a bad guy or something, especially if he's really in contact with Barbara Broccoli. But we'll see. You know, it's funny. My buddy John Larson told me a whole long story about it's pronounced broccoli, not broccoli, because broccoli is the vegetable, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's broccoli because the family was they were involved in the broccoli industry. So it actually is pronounced broccoli.
I gotta tell you,
now that I think about it, I probably should research that story again, because why would her name be broccoli if she was in? It doesn't make sense.
who knows?
Research that. We'll talk next week.
So, yeah. Oh boy, there I go again. Okay.
It's okay. We've both been on that boat today.
Yeah, but I'm on that boat all the time.
All right. So Jason says about The Beekeeper. This is an interview with Variety. I can't wait for people to see that. It's really sophisticated and cool, full of heart and excitement. It's a great film. The result is obviously yet to be seen, but I'm really, really proud of the movie. So that is good news. That's Felicia Rashad that plays the elderly woman in that movie. Didn't recognize her from the trailer there. The whole movie escalates in terms of the action, and it goes through an incredible, great crescendo. The whole world of the film has a mythology of the beekeeping world. If we were fortunate enough to make a sequel, we might have a whole world we can dive into. Oh, like John Wick, the beekeepers.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. When you were talking about,
Better be worth it.
well, no, you were talking about when we were talking about the different people who play James Bond, and you'd mentioned the fact that with him being bald, well, movie magic, he can wear a toupee. I mean, look at how many Bond movies Sean Connery did where he had a toupee.
He couldn't wear a toupee. They would never leave him alone about it. It would be too obvious. Nobody would leave him alone about it. He's got to go if he's going to play that role, he's got to go as Jason Statham. So yeah, that just wouldn't work.
It would be interesting to see him. You know what I didn't realize until maybe it was a year or two ago that an American actor was approached to play James Bond, and he turned it down.
Who was that?
That was Clint Eastwood.
Thank God.
No, he said no. It should be an English person to play.
You know what?
The UK.
I think we need to research that story too. That doesn't sound.
I can do that right now.
No, I don't care that much.
Oh, okay.
But that's interesting. I don't know that's an interesting story. But whoever would have seen Clint Eastwood as James Bond?
And I saw it
unless they're going to do an American version. Back in those days, they might have decided to do that.
Well, on television, there was.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
That's how the visual.
And he
started.
was a CIA operative named James Bond.
Yes, and his friend Felix was British.
Yes,
in that.
And that was, I believe it was on TV, and I believe it was a Playhouse 90 production.
It was. I think it was. I think it was. I was reading this here. They asked Statham if he was would take part in a superhero movie. And he said, I don't have a big appetite for a costume with cape and tights. I like old school 80s movies. I was inspired by people like Stallone and Arnold. And even before those guys, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, and Clint Eastwood. I just couldn't see any of those guys putting on a cape and a mask and going around on wires. Stallone did put on a mask, though, as Judge Dredd.
Oh, that's right.
But he wasn't a superhero. So I guess
but he only did it once.
And here's something that Statham says that I agree with completely. Cinema is like music. Some people like country and Western, others like heavy metal. I'm drawn to a bit more of a grounded kind of action. Well, I like being grounded to an element we inject into the crazy world that we're in. I love that guy.
I mean, really look at his, what was the movie where they were trying to harvest his organs?
Crank. 1 and 2.
Oh, I wish he would do a third one.
Somebody asked him about that, and he says they don't do the sequels to movies that didn't. They don't do a third sequel to a second sequel that made less money than the first movie. That's
That
what he
makes
said.
sense.
It does make sense though.
Who else is
By the
in-
way, I love those two movies. So
in this movie here that you're
Family
looking at?
Switch is what we started with. That
Yeah.
ended up on Jason Statham. Again, no idea how we got here, but that's what
No, I
it's
was just
about.
wondering who some of the other actors are.
Family Switch, I believe, is on Netflix, so you can check it out there. And if you have to choose between that and Candy Cane Lane, I'm begging you, watch the other one. Watch Family Switch instead.
Speaking of Switch, there is another movie called, I believe it's called Switch. Just Switch.
Yeah, there is, John. I don't know
And-
what that is.
No, I saw a trailer for it and I go,
Oh, wait,
that
it's a
looks
new
really
movie?
good. Yeah. And it looks really good.
All right. I was thinking of the old TV show, I think, Switch. The movie Switch is about top star Park Kang.
Okay,
Who
that's,
is it?
that's not the one.
Switch 2023. It is the one. You watched the wrong trailer. Can I finish what this one's about?
Yeah, go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
movie Switch is about top star Park Kang, who is a hit actor but a troublemaker when he meets a taxi driver on Christmas Eve and experiences a new life. Is this another Christmas movie? Don't know. So what movie are you thinking of?
I saw it when you were scrolling through.
Who's in it? Oh, you saw when I was scrolling through it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Think you're high.
Wish I was. Ow, I just bit the inside of my cheek. That hurt.
Here's Switch from 1991.
No.
That's not it. All right, we're moving on.
Okay. In the movie Captain America, you remember the guy that wore the derby hat?
Vaguely. Yes.
He's one of the main actors in this. His last name, I believe, is Donahue.
Phil?
Neil Donahue.
Oh, that guy's great.
Yeah.
I just saw him. Is that him? Or is this him? Nope.
We need to put
That
some
guy's got some
bumper music.
serious jaw action. Is that him? I don't know if that's him or not.
Oh.
He was in Suits.
I saw that and I can't remember it.
Well, there's 83 episodes. By the way, I finished that series. And I started watching the sequel series, Pearson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same gumption.
No, McDonoughe.
There
That's
it
why.
is. Sean Cahill. Yeah, that's who he played in that. His new movie is called. He was a Minority Report. I
gotta see that movie again
I
too.
do too. Here we go. Upcoming.
The Shift. The Shift.
The Shift. Nothing to do with Switch at all, folks.
Well,
but
there's-
The Shift.
There is an S in it.
As is what's John full of? The Shift.
Hey.
He is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally we started Suits, and like everybody else on the planet, we got instantly addicted to it. It got progressively less interesting as it went on, and the last season was almost unwatchable because it was so untrue. Everything that happened in that episode, my wife was, "Oh, that would never happen. That could never happen. That wouldn't happen." You know, she was in law for 30 years. And she's all and it was so it's like they tried to stay true to the law for the first few seasons at least. And then they just went nuts in that last season with Denise Crosby. It's like none of this it even has a thread of possibility. And as you're watching it, just like, God, you've blown it. You jumped the shark.
But now I totally agree with you. Now, my only thing I know about the law is when the run-ins I've had, like from speeding, I had to go to court, that kind of stuff. But and from watching all that stuff, I agree with what you say. The first few seasons were really good, but for me, it was one of those ones I had, or TV shows. I had to keep watching it to see how it's going to end, or how they can really mess it up.
And it ended well. It's one of the few series that actually gets to end well, despite the lousy last season. But like I said, Shelley, who knows these things, she's like, "No, this is not feasible. This would not happen." And it was very disappointing because of that. Because the whole basis of the season, that the bar comes in and takes over a law firm, that can happen, but not in that situation. It didn't make any sense. And even if they did come in and take over, they're not in charge. they oversee, but no, she was hiring, firing, That's not how it works. So unfortunately, we were very disappointed in that last season. And then Pearson, as much as I like, today is a day for names flying out of heads. The young woman who plays Pearson, who's a terrific actress. It just doesn't have the same snap. It just doesn't. You want it to, but it doesn't have the same snap that Louis Litt and all the rest of them did. Even though they make a cameo appearances here and there, and that it just doesn't have the same charm that Suits had all those years. Which is okay because she's doing all right. I mean, she was a member of the Firefly team.
Gina
Torres. She was a member of the Firefly team. She had to run in Suits, and now she's got a new series she's working on. So good for her. She's terrific. She's really an amazing actor. What else is going on, Johnny? What else have you seen?
I'm still watching a lot of the old shows. I started watching Leverage, the original Leverage.
Very good show.
Yes,
one of my favorites.
Enjoyed it. And I got to tell you, I enjoy Leverage Redemption as well.
Absolutely. That just got renewed for its third season, so there'll be a new season of Leverage Redemption. And right now people are saying, "Oh, wait, Scott. So you thought that the last season of Suits was ridiculous, and you watch Leverage?" Yeah, but you go into Leverage knowing it's ridiculous. And what do you want out of a Leverage episode? Every time, you want the bad guys to pay.
Oh, pay.
And so they make them pay, even when. And I love the way they get themselves out of boxes. Even when it's all over, do you think that they've lost? No, there's one more step that you didn't think about that they did. And even if it's completely and utterly impossible, that's what you want. So don't confuse my disappointment with Suits because it wasn't realistic with my love of Leverage because it's not realistic. Because like I said, you go into Leverage knowing it's not realistic.
And I like the way the screen goes from color to black and white when they're showing how they managed to pull something off.
It's like a flashback.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Now the episode I watched last night was a Christmas episode, and
there was a contest between two families who wanted to have the best display on their street.
No.
Oh, okay. That's Candy Cane Lane.
No, this takes place in a mall, and the bad guys are one of them is played by Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
And he did 2 or 3. I think.
Yeah, he was like a nemesis. He was a Moriarty character kind of.
Yeah, his character in it was called Chaos.
Yeah, that's
so. And that show was just. It was just so good that I would have liked to seen that turned into a movie.
I'm okay with the series, just as long as they keep them coming.
Yeah.
What I love the fact is that virtually the entire cast came back for Leverage Redemption, and especially this one. Let me pull up the screen here. What's his name? His name is.
You're talking about Christian Kane?
Nope.
Aldous Ridge.
Aldous Hodge, yes, Aldous Hodge is who I'm talking about. He's in Marvel movies now. He's a superhero, and yet he still manages to come back and do an episode or two throughout the.
It's like he does a cameo, and it's really.
Well,
cool.
It's sometimes not a cameo. Sometimes he's in a full episode.
Yeah.
But it's nice that he comes back and wants to be part of that team because he loves that show so much. So hopefully he'll be able to do that for Leverage Redemption season 3, especially since the Marvel movies ain't doing so well right now.
I would like to see Noah Wiley
play James Bond. I know that's what he's going to say.
No. If anything, maybe no.
Aldous Hodge. He'd be good.
Yeah. No, Noah Wiley, who is in Leverage Redemption, his character kind of sort of replaced the character Nate Ford, except Nate Ford was what they called the brain.
Right. And now Gina Bellman is the brain. Sophie Devereaux.
But
yeah, he's a lawyer, and they needed a lawyer. That was a good fix for them, I thought.
No, the librarian. I'd like to see him come back and do another librarian movie.
Did he not do another librarian movie recently?
I don't know.
I thought that I had seen something about a new librarian movie. it's hard to tell nowadays because they will put up old shows on the screen and you think they're a new version of them and it's just the old show, which is okay. But Librarian, those were fun movies too.
Yeah.
Again,
And
absolutely ridiculous.
It was a fun TV series too.
I guess the last one was 2017. So that's not even the right one. Rebecca Romaine. She was in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, good stuff there. And I'm glad that Leverage is returning. I think they just started production on the 3rd season. So it's going to be a while before we see it around. Did get breaking news this morning, though, that is very important to the entire planet. Curb Your Enthusiasm returns in February. What is being rumored to be the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's Larry David announced today on his Twitter that it will be February of 2024. I can't get enough of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I've watched each episode probably 3 times. And I love it so much because my wife doesn't want to like it. She can't stand Larry David. He's so obnoxious and crass that she can't watch him. I think that's part of what makes it so funny. But all that being said, she now watches every episode with me because she does appreciate the humor, despite the fact that Larry gets on her nerves. And, not just Larry, but other characters who are loud and crass. She still enjoys the show. So Curb Your Enthusiasm, brand new episodes starting February on Max. Used to be HBO, should still be HBO, but what are you going to do?
I'm not a big fan of Larry David.
Fail.
He's a heck of a writer.
Terrific actor.
But
hysterical comedian.
I just don't like his character that he plays.
Yeah, you're not supposed to. That's the beauty of it.
But I did like in the Three Stooges movie, I did like his portrayal as, I believe, the Mother Superior.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to admit that I did like.
Larry David, the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Look at IMDb is not even up to date. Curb Your Enthusiasm 2000 to 2021. I don't think so. 2024 now. So
but I like that. The Three Stooges. He played Sister Mary Mingala. Okay.
Yeah, that's Larry David is good stuff. He's a terrific writer, a great comic, and you're not supposed to like the character he plays, John. That's the whole point of Curb Your Enthusiasm. You're not supposed to like that guy.
Oh, that's just like All in the Family. The character of Archie Bunker. He was a bigot, but he didn't really know that he was a bigot.
Like most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's where the ignorance comes from.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
but by showing you how stupid he could be, he showed you how stupid racism is.
And speaking of Archie Bunker, All in the Family, the creator of that show just passed away. He created so many movies in the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
Who are you talking about?
He was 101 years old.
Yeah, what's his name?
He just passed away. And it's not Larry David.
It's Norman Lear.
Yeah, Norman Lear.
Norman Lear was you talk people. I've been noticing this lately. People use the term iconic way too much. Oh, look at that iconic pair of shoes. They're not iconic. They may be awesome and cool, but they're not iconic. That needs to be saved for certain people. Norman Lear was iconic. Yep. There'll never be anybody like him again. I can't imagine another producer stepping into that kind of life. It could happen. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I saw something recently. What was I watching? But the guy hit the nail on the head, and it's a little terrifying. He was talking to somebody in show business, and he was talking about how much show business is going to change in the next 5 years. And the first thing he said is that half of the streaming stations we're watching now will be gone in 5 years. I think that's true. Streaming channels are too much money, and they can't make money. And the only way to make money is to raise money. And the only way to raise money is to raise rates. And if they raise rates, people stop dropping off. It's doomed. I don't think it's going to be, I think that they're right. In 5 years, we won't have very many streaming stations. And then he said, and 15 years after that, the actors are going to be standing in your room doing the show because it's going to be 3D. It's going to be projected. And the technology will put the characters in your house with you. Also, I think that's going to happen. So what's going to happen to what we're doing now? Sitting there watching a flat image on a TV screen, it doesn't stay stable.
Mhm.
Think how much it's changed over the years with the very first black and white set, that little tiny round circle of TV, to these giant things we have on our walls now with sound that can come from 8 different parts of the room. Yeah. What's it going to be like then? And so I think that whoever said that was right. 5 years, streaming channels will all be gone, and 15 years after that, you'll be watching. Well, they will, because you and I won't be around. They'll be watching the characters act in their living rooms.
How long?
Everything changes.
How long before you can close your eyes because they've implanted something, and you close your eyes and you can watch a movie that way? Because it's
not going to be long.
Yeah.
They already have the glasses that do that. So why would they do that's do you want something planted in your mind, in your scalp or something?
Hey,
I don't.
Today people eat Tide Pods.
I don't even use AI. Well, that was a joke, but yeah, that's true. Well, it's like that movie Idiocracy. It's coming down to that's actually coming true. And it concerns me a little bit, but there's nothing I can do about it. I do this stupid show. People watch it. Thanks for watching. But I can't say I'm contributing anything to the culture of the world. We're not making anybody smarter. Hopefully we're entertaining you and giving you some news. But Penn Jillette said it best, and he was quoting somebody else. He said that in the future, the only business left will be show business, because machines will be doing everything else, and everybody's going to be doing their own little shows or something to keep the world entertained, because that's the one thing machines probably can't do.
I disagree with that. I think there will be at least 2 other things will be out there. Plumbers, lawyers.
Machines. AI. It's over, dude.
Okay.
I'm terrified of AI. And now that like, and you wonder who this is, they're encouraging you to try it. Go out there, use AI. It's wonderful. Look what you can do. It's like, is this really somebody telling me this? Is this AI telling me to do this? I don't know. And I'm probably just being stupid, but
no,
it's concerning. Do you have any fear of AI, Johnny?
No, not really. I mean, in certain instances, yes. I don't believe that we're ready for a driverless car. I just don't think we're ready for that yet.
Based on what?
Well, the accidents that we
compare the rates.
about.
The rates, even what the rates are today, the rates are far below regular cars. So yet another reason you don't like them is what it is.
Hey,
you really have no basis to dislike them, except for you don't like them.
It's going to be personal preference.
Okay, that's different. So don't say we're not ready for it. Say I don't believe in driverless cars. There's a difference there.
Okay.
You always want to speak for the whole world. It's just you. Remember, we had this conversation before. A lot of the problems with what's going on today is everybody thinks that they matter. And you do to a certain degree, but it is such a small, tiny degree that it's like the people, a friend of mine told me that COVID doesn't exist because he'd never seen anybody with COVID. I said, do you know anybody with lung cancer? But you know that exists. You can't just keep yourself in a microcosm. You got to remember that there's a whole world out there that disagrees with you, that does other things. And so personal opinion is important, but it doesn't get you to speak for everybody.
True.
Did you like that lecture? It was a pretty good lecture, huh?
Yeah.
That wasn't. It was, I don't know. I'm going to cut that out later.
No, don't do that.
Anyway, next week you will be here because your plans have changed and it ruined my Christmas.
I'm sorry. No, my Thanksgiving was ruined. Although I did have a nice Thanksgiving where I spent it, but it's not where I was hoping to spend it.
You were hoping to go to Texas with your family, right?
Yeah, I wanted to be with them, but my sciatica problem just. Well, you saw how long it took me to come up these stairs.
It was about 40 minutes.
Yeah,
and there's only 26 stairs.
And I kept saying, stairs. There had to be stairs.
How many times did I bring you water? It was like 3.
No, it was 4.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long trip.
because the last one you rolled it down the hallway.
I was tired of the stairs. Yeah, you need to get that fixed. It's time. So if you have to wait and you get it fixed and then you're able to go, will this injection you're getting, will that put you in a position to be able to do it?
I'm hoping so. And they can't get me in until first week of January. So a lot's just going to depend on if I want to grin and bear it and do the drive. Because my original plan was to be back here for Christmas. But now it looks like I will be here for Christmas.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
Because even if I go next week, it'll be just before New Year's before I get back.
Yeah.
If not after.
But you're not going next week.
At this point, it is up in the air.
All right. Well,
there's the possibility.
If you decide to go, text me so that I can be aware of it and know what's going on.
Okay.
All right, that's it for this week's show, folks. Again, let me just remind you, refresh your memory, the Scarlet Letter from Film Masters, highly recommended. Not just this particular title, but all of Film Masters titles. They've all been just perfect images and perfect sound quality from movies that, like this one, are almost 90 years old. That's pretty impressive, and they need to keep that up for both for entertainment purposes and for film preservation.
Well, the Scarlet Letter was a novel by Nathaniel Hawthorne.
That's right, which I said earlier.
I know it.
Okay. We're repeating now. So that's good. Yes.
And speaking of books, go to Amazon.com.
Oh, I see. There was a segue.
Look up R. Scott Bolton, author, and see the list of books that he has available. His most recent is very good. It's called Death and the Mogul. My favorite, as I have always said, is Dead Dick. They're all great books. In my opinion, yes, great books. Hollywood, get a hold of R. Scott Bolton. Tell him you want to make at least 3 of his books into movies. Okay, we'll go with 1.
Can you imagine what Spielberg could do with Dead Dick? Ooh. I know the first thing to do is change the title, but can you imagine what he would do to make that with that material?
Would be great. And remember, if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get free shipping. Christmas is right around the corner. You order it today, there's a good possibility you will have it before Christmas. Get them all. Some of them are hardback, some are paperback, some are downloadable. Matter of fact, I think all of them are downloadable.
They are. Yes, absolutely. Available for Kindle. Also, there may be hardcovers in the future of all of them. So,
that would be sweet.
I'll let you know. Johnny collects, the hardcovers. Yep. All right, folks, have a good week. One last thing. I want to say goodbye to Ryan O'Neal. Passed away this week. The guy was one of the biggest stars in the world for a long time.
Yeah, he was.
And Love Story was the movie that made him. And, he did a lot since then. His daughter is a fine actress in her own right. And he will be missed. He was always fun to watch in anything that he did. He wasn't always great, but he's always fun. And that counted for a lot. So Ryan O'Neal, pay a little tribute to him.
One of his big breaks was Peyton Place TV series.
I forgot about that completely. Yeah.
And Peyton Place.
Is that what got him the role in the Love Story? I bet it was.
That's a possibility.
I bet it was.
But the TV show Peyton Place was based on the movie, which was done back in the 50s, I think. This Peyton Place TV series was in the 60s. And one of my favorite actresses is Ann Archer.
Yeah.
She did a movie with Ryan O'Neal called Green Ice. And it was about emeralds.
It was a heist
South
movie,
America.
Right? Oh, was it a heist movie or not?
Yeah, it's a heist movie.
Okay.
And heist, smuggling. You're taking emeralds from a country down in South America. You're not supposed to do that. But yeah, it was, I fell in love with Ann Archer from that movie. And when we saw her in Body of Evidence as the judge,
not her fault.
No, not her fault. But anyway,
that movie should have worked, and it didn't even come close.
Ryan O'Neal, he was really good. The movie he did called Paper Moon, did it with his daughter Tatum O'Neal.
Yes,
she won an Oscar as Best Supporting Actress, And
I think she's still the youngest one today, isn't she? That to win an Oscar.
I don't know if she's the youngest or if did Shirley Temple ever get an Oscar?
She got an honorary Oscar, I think.
Okay.
But well, we'll look it up here in a second. I was just trying to find out. We can watch Body of Evidence on Tubi or Pluto TV. I think we should watch that again and see if it's as bad as we remember. And let's see, youngest actor win Oscar. Tatum O'Neal. Yep. She was 10 years old when she won that. And by the way, have you seen Paper Moon?
Oh, when it first came out.
She deserved that Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
She is stunningly good in that movie. I remember watching that going, most of the time, kids are kids in movies, and sometimes they pull off some amazing feats. But that performance was nothing short of stunning. She deserved to win that Oscar. It wasn't one of those things where they gave a kid an Oscar because they were a cute kid. They gave her the Oscar because she deserved it. She was excellent in that movie as well. Okay, so Johnny and I are going to try to watch Body of Evidence again.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll try. We'll see.
It's hard to watch a movie when you're laughing and you got tears rolling down and the tears are clouding everything that you're trying to watch.
And you're sitting there with the people who made it, and they're laughing just as hard as you are. That was an odd day. That was a really odd day. All right, folks, as always, go visit our friends at The Grape. We'll go visit our friends at Harbor Cove Cafe, and we will see you next week here on the Backseat Mogul Show.
Hey, remember, Christmas right around the corner, so order those books, the R. Scott Bolton book collection from Amazon, and if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. I did it twice.
See, that's a good idea. All right, folks, we'll see you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.